Hello everybody, Yuno here, and we're back with the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles, Part 1 Adventure, and I think I finally fixed the audio issue. For some reason the game audio is just so loud in this port, and it's like, the actual settings themselves gives you no option to turn it down. It's frustrating, but I think I finally figured it out, so audio this video should be super clear, and if it's not, you can let me know in the comments. But anyways, without further ado, we're about to meet this woman who, she seems pretty suspicious to me. Excellent work, Rinosuke. That was superb. My heart was in my mouth the entire time. It was almost unbelievable. I mean, looking at you in there. You were drenched in sweat, your eyes popping, your knees knocking, and you were grinding your teeth. It was a grim sight, but before I knew it, you'd started finding inconsistencies in the testimonies. I think you might have an unnatural talent for being a lawyer. Forget it, it's terrifying. If I get through this, I don't ever want to see the inside of a courtroom again. Ha 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 ha. Anyway, it looks like we've exposed your phantom lady at last. Miss Giselle Brett. A student from Great Britain, is she? That's what I was trying to tell everyone from the start. Dr. Wilson wasn't alone. There was a young woman with him, like I've been saying all along. Yes, you have, haven't you? I might not be overly confident in the courtroom, but my powers of observation are one thing I am sure of. Yes, I can see that. So, about this young gentlewoman. Thanks to our detective friend, she was hastily escorted away from the scene, it seems. Yeah, did you see what happened with that? No, I didn't see any of it. Oh, guys, I gotta sneeze. Ow. I was just on my way out of the restaurant myself then, on the floor next to Dr. Wilson's table. I noticed there was a gun lying on the floor, and just after I bent down and picked it up. Bang! Like we see this crime scene 1,000 times already. I didn't have time to think about where the sound of the gunshot had come from. The waiter ran over to me looking as white as a sheet, and he bundled me into some sort of small pantry next to the kitchen. Fast thinking by the detective, he apprehended his suspect without a moment's delay. Yes, and because I was shut in the pantry, I have no idea what happened outside in the dining area. Ah, there you are. Well done, both of you. Oh, it's him. Professor Mikotoba. Well, it seems I was right. The pair of you make an outstanding team. You've exceeded my expectations, I have to say. Yes, it seems you planned this from the start. You arranged things so that I wouldn't be able to act as a lawyer in this trial. Our modern country is still in its infancy. Our justice system even more so, which is why I firmly believe that we need to send our brightest young stars overseas to learn all they can. I wanted to avoid a situation that may have resulted in your study tour to Great Britain being cancelled. Well, it makes no difference. Lawyer or otherwise, if I'm the kind of man who can't help his best friend avert the worst crisis of his life. I shouldn't waste everyone's time by going to study overseas anyway. What? What are you saying, Kazuma? So that's your stance. I was afraid you'd feel that way. Kazuma! Well then. It looks like it all comes down to you, young man. To me? Yes, you need to prove your innocence and uncover what really took place in that restaurant. I must say I very much want to know the truth. After all, I have a personal connection to this case. Come to think of it, he said the same thing earlier this morning, didn't he? What kind of a personal connection could he have, though? He seems very unconnected. Maybe it's one of his students, though. That could be it. If you don't mind me asking, Professor, did you know the victim? Yes, I did. As you're probably aware, Dr. John H. Wilson was a visiting professor at Yume, and it was I who invited him. Oh, I see. I didn't know that before. Anyway, you're about to go into battle. The victim was a university professor from Great Britain, and a well-known one at that. Naturally, our government is looking to identify and punish the culprit as quickly as possible. But let's not forget we're going up against the gentlewoman whose involvement our police bureau went to extraordinary lengths to hide. Yeah, they did go to extraordinary lengths to hide her because an English person killing an English person in Japan, I guess they couldn't fathom that? I'm not entirely sure. Yes, and I'm sure the prosecution will be using every tool at their disposal to quash your case. But I have no doubt that you pair will put up a good fight right to the last. Best of luck. Thank you. Now then, I need you to run an errand at the university at once. There's something I think we may need. Of course. Good luck, Kazuma-sama. Defendant Naruhodo, court recess is over. Please make your way back inside the courtroom at once. It's time. Let's get back to it, partner. Let's go in there and deal a decisive blow. Before those old fossils know what hits them. Kazuma? What? Thank you, really. What for? Well, if you hadn't said you believed me, then I'm fairly sure I'd already have been found guilty by now. Look, I have faith in you. As a lawyer and as a friend. Coming from you, that means a lot. Aww. Make out. Make out. Come on. If I'm found guilty in his trial, he's really going to give up on his dream of studying abroad. That's the kind of true friend he is. So this isn't just my battle anymore. Whoever we're up against, we absolutely cannot afford to lose. Alright then. I'll save the thank yous for after the trial. Sorry if you guys hear some feedback from my water bottle, by the way. My voice is very shot, so I'm just taking care of my throat while I'm doing this, so. You can treat me to one of those sukiyaki meals I like from the Yume cafeteria on University Street. With an extra large portion, of course. Extra large portion, my ass. Alright, it's time, guys. We got this. The court hereby resumes the trial of Ryunosuke Naruhodo. Prosecutor Auchi, have you managed to subpoena the witness? Yes, Your Excellency, against all odds. And thanks to a certain young stripling, the prosecution is now under rather painful scrutiny from the government. Sorry? I want to apologize to him. Let the government scrutinize, that's their job. It's nothing to worry about. It's highly unlikely that good relations we forged with the Great Britain will emerge from this trial unscathed. Will you still think it's nothing to worry about when the new treaty breaks down and our nation founders? Again, terribly sorry. If the friendship between our nations is really so fragile, then the treaty isn't worth the paper it's written on. You really have nothing to worry about, Ryunosuke. What do you mean? A secret trial, anxiety over some foreign government's opinions, a bungled investigation, missing witnesses. Is this what our nation's justice system is? Is this the Supreme Court of Japan, or of England? Shut up, you jumped-up rookie boy! You and your friend know nothing of the situation our nation finds itself in. By aligning ourselves with this great world power, we'll become strong. Diplomacy has never been more critical. Steady political maneuvering is what we will secure our futures. I won't deny that I'm no expert. I'm just a student, and one who could arguably study harder too. But standing here now in our Supreme Court, there is one thing that I feel very strongly. A country that fails to uphold the truth in its justice system is a country with no future at all. Well said, Ryunosuke. despite the wide-eyed look of terror. Yeah, he is, like, scared out of his pants.
Thank you, Counsel. This court is the pinnacle of our nation's justice system and exists solely for the pursuance of truth. With that in mind, this trial will now resume with the next witness taking the stand. The visiting student from Great Britain, Miss Giselle Brett. Yes.
Your Excellency! Alright, let's see her. Interesting. Ooh, it's music.
Well, what a delight it is to welcome such a fine gentlewoman to Japan, and from such a distant land. Tea. Someone bring English tea. In England, no discussions take place without tea.
Is that true? No idea.
So, could we possibly trouble you to state your name and occupation for the court?
Of course. My name is Satoru Hosonaga. I have been working undercover as the head waiter at La Carnival. Am I true?
Yes, we know all about you already.
Inspector
Hosonaga, where are your manners? In England, it's always ladies first.
Is that true? No idea. More importantly, a little earlier today, you said something to me. You said your powers of observation are the one thing you're sure of. Oh, yes. I think I did, didn't I? Yet your description for this amazing sight was simply a woman. Sorry, Inosuke, but powers of observation aside, your powers of description are sorely lacking. Guilty.
So, dear lady, once again, if we may trouble you for your name and occupation, please.
She's definitely sus.
Bitch, I can't read that! I'm terribly sorry, dear lady, but... What?
Okay, this seems sus. We should get an official court translator, not this undercover detective. The lady says her name is Giselle Brett. She comes from London, England. She's a visiting research student, currently enrolled in UMay University's medical faculty.
Oh my, what a rare treat to hear the dulcet tones of the delightful language of the British people. I'm afraid I don't understand a word you said, but it was as beautiful as a hummingbird's song.
As far as I can tell. The detective is translating her words faithfully enough. Yes, I agree. You'll obviously do fine in England, Kazuma. Her English doesn't rattle you at all, does it? Nor you. You've clearly been paying attention in your English classes, Rinosuke.
The court thanks the beautiful lady for taking the stand. Now, if we may trouble you to confirm something, Miss Brett. 3 days ago, at a restaurant called La Carnival, a grim murder took place. The court has been led to believe that you were dining there with the victim, Dr. Wilson, at the time. Is that correct?
Tea, crumpets. Stabbing peasants. She says yes. This could take some time. So even though she's studying here in Japan, she can't speak any Japanese? Execute them. Losers. She'd like to apologize for disappearing from the scene. She says that she was due to make a presentation at the university, so she had to leave immediately. Interesting, when you're the one who engineered her escape. I was just following special orders from the bureau.
Well now, dear lady, would you be so kind as to cast your eyes over this photographic print? seeing as you were so unfortunately present at the scene of the crime, could it be that your resplendent eyes caught sight of the wicked perpetrator, perhaps?
Kill him. Apparently, it was a very frightening and sorrowful sight.
Do you mean to say?
Yes, it would appear that the lady did witness the crime. The very moment when the accused, standing right there in his courtroom, shot the victim in cold blood. I'm calling bullshit. Right here, right now.
Order in the court. Did you hear that, Your Excellency? Here we have an absolutely conclusive witness statement.
Well, it looks like it's clear now. Clear who our real enemy is.
Unfortunately, I will have to ask you to formally testify, if you please. Kindly tell the court the exact nature of this frightening and sorrowful sight you described.
Kill him. Alrighty. Burn them all down. I had arranged to meet for a slightly late luncheon with Dr. Wilson that day. The professor was unable to eat, so I ordered for myself only a beef steak. After a while, the accused came over to greet the professor, and they got into a fierce argument. Then, not too long afterwards, the accused took the professor's gun and shot him right before my eyes. I don't carry a gun myself, so obviously I couldn't have been the culprit. Ah, you sure about that?
Yes!
No, I didn't have any kind of argument with the professor at all.
Objection! Objection! Quiet, you filthy wretch! Look at you, you black-hearted blackguard. And look at this snow-white angel. I'm sure even a dark-minded scoundrel like you can imagine whose words the court is going to believe.
You're still making the same mistakes, Ryunosuke. You mustn't blurt out when you're goaded like that. That's a lesson you need to learn.
But he's so annoying. I just want to punch him in his old face.
Of course, I was at the scene as well. I took statements from this lady and the two witnesses who testified before and reported back to the bureau. It was decided that Miss Brett was not involved, so I let her go. The testimonies of the last two witnesses were completely worthless, however. Well, even so. On the day in question, the lady was wearing the same outfit as she is today. As you can see, there is nowhere about her person where she could conceal a fire. I ain't under that big fucking hat, you know? I would think she could hide a gun almost anywhere in that outfit if she wanted to. It's facts, Ryunosuke. Facts.
Until the precise location where the witness is to have hidden a weapon can be shown, this is mute.
There are no pockets in my outfit. I have nowhere to hide a gun. Those are the witness's own words on the matter. That's ridiculous. If only I was allowed to lift up her dress, I could prove it. Don't think about doing anything rash, Ryunosuke. But I didn't fire the gun I picked up. There must have been another gun there on that day. You're right about that. Which means this lady was hiding a gun somewhere. Yes, that's what we have to prove now. And to do so, we will need to pull her testimony apart. Oh, fucking bitch.
The defense may now cross-examine the witness.
Oh, yes, Your Excellency. It's a unique first trial. A frightening and sorrowful night. I'd arranged to meet for a slightly late luncheon with Dr. Wilson that day.
Yes!
Tell me about that. After 2 p.m., in fact. That's really quite a late lunch, isn't it?
Objection! Objection! You don't keep up with the latest fashions from Britain, do you? Late luncheons are on vogue, isn't that right?
No. A decisive English no has quite a sting to it. The gentlewoman is currently working in the victim's research laboratory, it seems, so it was apparently a daily occurrence that they would lunch together. But on the day in question, the victim had another appointment at the clinic first. Yes, which we can prove from the medical report card that was submitted as evidence earlier. That's right. Miss Brett and the victim went to lunch following the victim's treatment, which is why it was so late.
Yes, that all makes perfect sense. Such wonderful logic. What a shining example of English intelligence this fine gentlewoman is.
So you both arrived at the restaurant. What happened next? The professor was unable to eat, so I ordered for myself only a beef steak.
Yes!
Did you, though? He was unable to eat, you say? And that was just because he had a tooth removed at Hada Clinic, correct? That's right. You're supposed to actually check with the witness before answering? Was Miss Brett aware of that fact? It seems so, yes. She'd heard that the professor was to have some dental treatment. So that would mean that it was you who ate the steak pictured here. Is that right, Miss Brett? That's right, yes, she is indeed. Girthy. The print you have there shows the table exactly as it was left after the horrifying events. Exactly as it was left.
Dear me, what a harrowing experience. To have traveled to a distant land on the far side of the world and be embroiled in such a tragic incident.
Shut up, Auchie.
Have no fear, my dear lady. I swear I will crush the evil brain that has subjected you to this terrible plight.
So the victim, Dr. Wilson, had nothing to eat or drink at all. That's right, other than some carbonated water. Just water? Yes. The professor was unable to eat, but he had been given permission to drink water. So it appears that the diners toasted their lunch with a glass of water each. Each raised a glass of carbonated water. What do you think, Ryunosuke, about the witness's last statement? It's very meaningful, because there is only one glass on the table, if I remember correctly. That statement of yours, Miss Brett, has a profound bearing on this case.
Well, how fascinating. Do tell us, what is this profound bearing?
The significance of the statement will become apparent when the time is right. The defense calls for the witness's last statement to be formally added to the testimony.
Well sidestepped, counsel. Very well. Miss Brett, kindly repeat what you just said to be added to your official testimony.
Gladly, she said. That was brilliant, Kazuma. I'm going to remember that one. Which one? The significance will be apparent when the time is right. I could really use that phrase. I'd hope there are some more useful tips you're picking up from this experience than that, Ryunosuke. I ordered a beefsteak for myself, and the professor and I said cheers over a glass of carbonated water. Nuh-uh. Let's see. Examine. Yeah, it was only one glass of carbonated water.
Yes!
That's it! Let me just confirm something, please. It's to do with this photographic print. Just a short while ago, you spoke of this print showing the victim's table at the crime scene. That it was exactly as it was left. That is correct, the lady says. Well, it's odd, very odd.
Dear me,
What's odd is the defense's inability to express itself. Ryunosuke, what is it about the print that looks odd to you? Well, obviously, it's the cheers.
The cheers?
Miss Brett just told us that she and the professor said cheers over a glass of water. But if that's true, There should be 2 glasses on the table, not 1.
Ah! You're quite right, counsel. There's only 1 glass pictured here.
Objection!
Objection! Are we supposed to be impressed by this nitpicking over minotry?
What possible difference does the presence or absence of a glass make on the case?
Objection!
Minashe, you say? Could it be that the detective here removed a glass from the table to conceal the lady's presence? Of course not. I would never do something so reckless. But there should have been 2 glasses on the table. Or are you going to try and tell me you can clink with only 1? You're quite right. I certainly took 2 glasses to the table. I'm gonna kill you later.
Inspector, what did the lady say?
It would seem that it was Miss Brett who took the glass from the table. What? It was all so terrifying, everything that happened. I panicked and thought I should try to hide the fact that I'd been there at all, she is saying. Oh, that's not suspicious at all, you know, leaving a crime scene, taking shit from the crime scene. Kinda speaks killer to me. Sorry! Yeah, I ain't buying it, bitch.
There, as I assured the court before, this is of no consequence at all.
Oh, please.
We must remember that this student had just murdered this lady's luncheon companion before her very eyes. Who could blame her for concealing a glass or 2 in her state of disarray?
That's absurd.
Oh, really? So do we take it you are now going to accuse this vulnerable young, beautiful woman of mischief?
What? No, this can't be put down to mischief. I'd like to know exactly how the lady took the glass from the scene. Shoot that one next. It would seem that she slipped it into a small handbag she was carrying. There you go! That's where you could put a fucking gun.
A handbag, you say?
Yes, Your Excellency, a small handheld pouch commonly carried by a well-to-do woman in England.
So, the beautiful lady has very graciously explained how and why she removed the glass from the scene now. However, the fact remains that this glass has absolutely no bearing on the case. This student has been trying to confuse the court with logical reasoning, but in the end it comes to not— Ouchie, can you shut the fuck up? Please. No more pretentious accusations. You have wasted enough time already.
Indeed, the lady has offered a satisfactory explanation as to why she removed this glass. I think henceforth we can consider the matter to have no bearing on the case. Counsel for the defense, are you in agreement? Well, I don't know really. If you want to pursue this matter further, you're going to need to show that it has some deeper significance. Yes, you're right. So she took the glass away in her handbag. There's a deeper significance there. It's the handbag. Wait, the lady put the glass in her handbag, you say?
Yes, do try to keep up. It's already been explained to the court that all English gentlewomen carry handbags for small items.
Let me see. A little while ago, Miss Brett stated the following. There are no pockets in my outfit. I have nowhere to hide a gun. But what she forgot to mention was her handbag, in which it would be perfectly possible to conceal a gun.
You're right.
Well done, partner. I had a feeling you'd pick up on that too.
What are you insinuating, you vile blackguard?
It's really very simple. I like Kazuma, man. The gunshot was heard when the defendant picked up the gun from the restaurant floor. As he didn't fire that gun, we can deduce there must have been another firearm at the scene. The true murder weapon, if you will.
You can't seriously be suggesting.
Inspector Hasanaga. Yes? Did you or did you not search Miss Giselle Brett's handbag on the day of the murder? No, sir, I did not. As I thought, In other words, another gun, the one that was actually used to kill the professor, could have been hidden in Miss Brett's handbag.
No! Order, order, order. What is the meaning of this, Inspector?
The meaning of what, Prosecutor Auchis?
Why on earth did you not have the lady open her handbag and show you the contents at the time? Thanks to your bungling incompetence, now she has to endure these uncomfortable accusations.
Brilliant work, partner. Now we have a chance to expose the real woman behind the mask. Do you think so, Kazuma? Get this fucking man's to a hospital! Well, what a sorry situation. Clearly, you have no faith in the police. As I said, I did not search the lady's handbag after the shooting, simply because it was unnecessary. Unnecessary in what way? I ought to thank the student lawyer, really. I have a piece of evidence here that I had completely forgotten about. Ah, bullshit! This photographic print. It's print of a photograph that I thought would be prudent to take immediately after the shooting. As you can clearly see, it shows Miss Brett's handbag.
Well, I never.
You can see right through to what's inside. That's right. Apparently, meshwork bags like these are the height of fashion in London at the moment.
So the contents are clearly visible.
Exactly. So there was no need to search the lady's handbag. If there had been a gun inside, it would have been immediately obvious. Ah! As you can see, there's nothing to imply Miss Brett's guilt here. Thank you for helping to prove that, Naruhodo-san. God damn, these two. She's gonna get her comeuppance soon.
Order, order. Inspector Hasanaga, you will submit that print as evidence at once.
Certainly, Your Excellency. I'm going to check that immediately, because something about it does not feel right. So you can see the contents inside it, huh? What's that about? Furthermore, something about this bag does just not seem right. But you know what? I'm not sure.
The court has now been shown considerable evidence. As the photographic print just submitted in the court record appears to have no further significance, I am satisfied that there is no longer any room for doubt in this matter, and I must make my ruling. Indeed, and there is only one logical conclusion, that the pathetic rookie slumped over the bench before us is the only possible perpetrator of this crime. No. Just when I thought I was beginning to turn things around, I'm in a worse situation than I was at the start. Kazuma? I'm sorry, Ryunosuke. Now that the cross-examination of the witness is over, there's no way to force the trial to continue. What? You mean this is it? Ha-ha! I must say, you put up quite a fight for a rookie student, but the weaker meet while the strong eat. You are wasting your time. There is no way to defeat true justice. A fact you can chew on to your heart's content, from the inside of your cell.
This can't be happening. Am I really going to be found guilty of a crime that I didn't commit? And Kazuma, his dream of going to study in Great Britain will slip through his fingers. Kazuma. What? Is there really no chance now of turning this trial around? You heard the judge. There's nothing about that last photograph to Detective Bruce that we can contest, which means there's no basis on which we can argue for the trial to continue.
Very well, I will now proceed immediately to the ruling. It seems we will be able to report to the British government on time after all.
That smug little...
Ryunosuke Haruhado, having considered all of the evidence placed before me...
Yes! Wait, Your Excellency.
Ryunosuke!
I don't think you can rule on this case yet.
Objection! Objection! This amateurishness is getting tedious. When His Excellency deems that the trial is over, he gives his ruling. That's the most basic protocol of the courtroom.
Yes!
Your Excellency, just a moment ago you said this. As the photographic print just submitted appears to have no further significance, there is no longer any room for doubt on this matter, and I must make my ruling. Now that means if there was a problem with the evidence, some significant detail I mean, then ruling on the case at this time would be out of the question.
Objection!
Objection! This is blatant straw clutching. Look at this photographic print. All it shows is the handbag the gentlewoman was carrying on the day in question. There can be no problem with this evidence.
You'd better know what you're doing, Ryunosuke.
I understand your objection, counsel. Certainly, the new evidence submitted by the detective has not undergone the court's scrutiny. However, I fail to see how we can glean on any new information from this handbag. Ha! My thoughts exactly. Really, the prosecution is becoming tired of this rookie's desperate squeezes.
Yes, I am desperate, but this isn't a wheeze. There's something about this photograph which just doesn't seem right. If only I could put my finger on it.
Very well, I will grant the defense one final opportunity. What?
But be warned that if I am unsatisfied by your response here, the trial will be over with immediate effect.
Do I make myself clear?
Yes, Your Excellency.
So take another look at the photographic print Inspector Hosonaga submitted before.
You will identify for the court where in this print we can see the significant detail to which you have alluded. Okay, I've been worried about this. I want to say that really comes off as suspicious. However, there has to be something about this purse too. I'm gonna go with my first guess.
Yes!
Look at this here. There's a very unusual mark on the victim's wrist.
That is true. It looks almost like a burn of some description.
Objection!
Objection! Dear me, I was pondering what new piffle you would come out with. A burn, you say, on the victim's wrist. Clearly that has nothing whatsoever to do with the magnificent lady's handbag.
Yes, that is a burn mark, you're right.
Go on, Inspector.
The police coroner also noticed it when he was performing the post-mortem examination. It was deemed unrelated to the cause of death, so we didn't note it in his report.
What did I tell you? In any case, we have no idea when the victim suffered this burn, do we? And no possible way of knowing either.
Oh, are you sure about that?
The more I look at it, the more I find myself intrigued by the curious shape of this mark. However, as Prosecutor Auchis points out, unless a firm connection to the case can be shown, I cannot allow any further time to be spent on the precise details of this burn. Kill them all?
Excuse me, Your Excellency. It would seem Miss Brett has a lunch appointment with the Dean and other university staff. She would like to know if she may be excused from the stand now.
Oh, of course, dear lady. We shan't hold you up any longer. I'm quite sure His Excellency is about to give his final ruling anyway.
What's your thinking on this, Ryunosuke? Do you believe this burn has something to do with this case? To be honest, I'm not really sure. But if I don't keep pushing, then it's all over. So I think I should keep digging and digging in the hope that I might uncover something useful. Yes, you're right. I am? If we can just link that burn to the case. If we can do that, we might be able to prise this shutting door back open again.
Just give up, Counsel. You can't possibly hope to do that. Indeed, I'm afraid that without evidence, I can't allow you to pursue what is little more than conjecture.
But if we had evidence? Evidence that irrefutably linked the burn on the victim's wrist to the case, then would you allow it?
I would, yes.
To tell the truth, I hadn't noticed that burn. But as soon as you pointed it out, what I did notice was the color draining Miss Brett's face. Really? I have to find some link between that burn and the case. This is the moment of truth. It's time to find some evidence that proves what that burn really means.
So then, the defense will now present its evidence to the court.
The evidence that demonstrates an indestructible connection between the victim's burn and this trial. Okay, let's see. Out of curiosity, I want to present this. Oh, that worked? Okay. I was just grasping at straws there.
What's this, Counsel? Yet another print?
Yes, Your Excellency. I believe photographic prints are an amazing invention. When we humans look at a scene, we miss things. But in a photograph, things may have been overlooked at the time or recorded forevermore.
Do hurry up, rookie. What are you trying to say? To inconvenience this poor lady any further would really be quite inexcusable.
Oh, shut up. Actually, we may need you to stay with us a little longer if you don't mind, Miss Brett. You see, it's very clearly visible in this other photograph. How did the victim come to have that unusually shaped burn on his wrist? The reason is recorded here forevermore. What? How?
Objection!
Objection!
You can't fool me with your little bluffs, boy. If that's your game, then let's see how it plays out. Show the court exactly what you mean.
What is it in this photograph that explains the reason for the victim's burn? God. I wouldn't say the steak. The burn kind of looks like this.
The beefsteak?
Actually, the point is the metal plate that the steak was served on.
The plate? Your Excellency, are you alright?
As you can see, there's an emblem on the plate. I would guess it's some sort of trademark of La Carnival. This emblem on the plate. In the victim's burn. They're the exact fucking same shape! Rinosuke, you genius! You're spot on. Which means the victim must have suffered this burn while he was present at the restaurant. That music is fucking great. Too bad it was overpowering my voice in the last 2 episodes.
But even if that is the case, we can't know if it happened on the day in question or not. It could have been the day before or the day before that. It most likely happened at some other unrelated time.
Well,
Objection!
I like Kazuma's objection. Sadly, Prosecutor Auchi, the chances of that are extremely slim. Thanks.
Why?
The outline of the burn is clearly discernible. Such as a serious injury would have caused quite a commotion in the restaurant. Wouldn't you agree, Inspector Hosonaga? I can't imagine having missed such a terrible I would say, looking at the picture of the wound, that it wasn't suffered very long ago. And although it's not a particularly large burn, it's extremely well defined, as the defense just pointed out. This was no mild burn, that's for sure. Can you be more specific, Inspector? Well, let's see. If the plate was at around 90 degrees centigrade, a burn like that would have taken around 3 seconds.
It's inconceivable that the victim wouldn't have let out a scream of pain then.
I've been investigating at the restaurant for several weeks already, but I have not heard anyone scream at all. As the head waiter of La Carnival, I can testify to that without hesitation. Okay, I believe him on that one. But maybe it was all the anesthesia he was in. Or maybe they had an argument.
But you're a detective, not a waiter.
Yes!
There you have it. Something isn't right there. As the detective said, anyone who burnt themselves on a piping hot plate for 3 whole seconds would scream in pain. There's no question of that. And yet Inspector Husnoga never heard the professor scream, not on that day or any day before it. That's right. And the strange thing is, on the day he was shot, I didn't hear him cry out either. What are you suggesting? Well, if the professor had carelessly laid his wrist on the plate for anything like 3 seconds that day,
that would be beyond careless, I think, Counsel.
Then the rest of us in the restaurant, myself, the sergeant, and the old antiques dealer, all of us would without any question have heard him scream. Wouldn't you agree, Prosecutor Auchis?
Well, yes, I suppose.
So the question is, why didn't a single person hear Dr. Wilson scream? I almost don't believe it. Ryunosuke, do you think... I think we're getting to the truth. I never dreamt to arrive at a conclusion like this, but I'm starting to think that maybe we've been led into a terrible trap. Ooh. I think this episode has gone on for long enough, guys. We are finally making headway. And I think we're about to conclude the first trial in the next episode. If you liked the video, please leave a like down below. Leave a comment too, maybe. Sorry, it's been a long recording session. And hey, maybe even subscribe. Without further ado, have a great day.